A very good evening to everyone. Pramod sir,
Yes,
shall
ma'am.
we have 1 minute?
Just few seconds, wait, please.
Yeah.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I request Dr. Indrani, ma'am, Executive Committee member of iSPELL, to start the event. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pramod sir. A very pleasant evening to everyone present over here. It gives me enormous pleasure to be associated with iSPELL India since its inception on 5th September 2020. This forum was founded by few like-minded professors who joined, discussed, and started this particular platform to keep the professors, to keep the literary lovers on go during the pandemic situation. On this special occasion, today's topic is a very interesting one where we speak about the text, how actually the text could be looked into as a paratext, anti-text, and these things. And we have the guest, my special gratitude for Balasubramaniam for accepting our invitation to be the part of this particular special lecture on virtual mode. Along with that, we have many such like group and like-minded people who are there supporting us since from the beginning when this SSS Sunday Sahitik Satsang started. Today's is a special one where we actually get to know about few more added things which speaks about the literary genre which we all come across. And in this way, this is a platform which actually makes us to think, rethink, and gives a platform to facilitate and to elevate. On this special occasion, I would like to tell you all that this was a very great moment for me to understand and to coordinate the iSPELL event for this particular month, January. Though there were 5 events which actually was coordinated, and all the 5 deliberations along with these resource persons have literally brought us to a new horizon to know about a new arena where new topics were discussed, and every topic has given us thrown light on new literary views to research and to work upon it. On this occasion, I take immense pleasure to express my gratitude to I welcome the keynote speaker, Balasubramaniam. I also take immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Arpit ma'am, who is chairing the session. And now over to Brunda. And she is a very good friend of mine. She heads, I'm sorry, there is some technical error which is going on. Kindly excuse me for this. I hope I'm audible.
You're audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Let me introduce the Master of Ceremony who is taking over today. And she is Brunda from Department of English. She heads the Department of English. She is qualified KSET and she has done courses. She teaches all streams of members from BCom, BSc, BCA. She works in SDM MMK College, Mysore, which is a very reputed college in Mysuru. She has conducted many conferences, state level and national level conferences and webinar. She has organized many state level conferences also. And she has attended many workshops and presented 2 papers in national and international journals. And along with that, she has published 2 resource papers also. Along with that, she has attended many national, state level and contributed to the Indian writers of the world of English literature. And she has been invited as a delegate to render special lecture in different various colleges. She is very active and aspirant to learn more and more. And she is an active member of Karnataka South Forum too, working committee member. And she is very curious to know, inquisitive to know more and more, and a very dedicated lady she is. I take immense pleasure to welcome Brunda to take over the session. And she being the master of ceremony, I wish she'll do justice to this particular program. And all the best to you, Brunda, and you can
Thank you,
carry
ma'am.
on the session now.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, one and all gathered here. If you have knowledge, let others light their candles in it, which implies sharing knowledge is the most fundamental act of friendship because it is a way you can give something without losing something. On this kind note, I would like to bring into your kind notice that iSPELL was established with the vision of rejuvenate and revitalize the English language and literature teaching fraternity with 360-degree updating and upgrading of teaching, research, and innovations to reach out to the learners and lovers of English language in India to make them globally competent. With this as one of its vision, we are yet to again gather to witness our 72nd e-seminar on the topic Symbols as Protext, Paratext, and Antitext. A small cheers and great welcome to make a merry feast. On the outset, I would render an amicable welcome to all our today's resource person, Dr. S. Balasubramaniam, Assistant Professor of English, DRBCC Hindu College, Pattabhirama, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Welcome you to the program, sir. I extend my hearty welcome. Okay. I extend my hearty welcome to Dr. Harpreet Gorkacha, Senior Assistant Professor of English, Government Kamla Devi Rati, PG Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Rajnandan Gaun, Chhattisgarh, who readily agreed to chair the session. Welcome you to the session, ma'am. A glad welcome to Dr. Indrani Emma, Convener iSPELL South Karnataka Forum, Assistant Professor of English, SBRR Mahajana First Grade College, Mysuru, and coordinator of the event. I congratulate you, ma'am, for successfully coordinating and the event from the past 4 weeks, as she has been the guiding spirit behind the entire team of iSPELL South Karnataka Forum. I heartily welcome you to the program, ma'am.
Thank you.
I render my gracious welcome to all the EC members, professors, research scholars, and students to this remarkable event. In short, I would also like to acknowledge and congratulate the Assam iSPELL Forum that has been added to the existing fraternity of 6 iSPELL Forum over the country. My hearty congratulations to the Assam iSPELL Forum. I welcome all the 7 patrons of different state forum of iSPELL to witness the event. Moving on, I now like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. S. Balasubramaniam, to the gathering. S. Balasubramaniam, designated as Assistant Professor of English since 1995, has held various positions as Joint Director, IQAC Coordinator, NAC, DRBCC Hindu College, and MPhil Guide, Annamalai University. At present, he is a Chief Examiner, University of Madras. Sir has participated, presented, organized, and chaired many of the state, national, and international conferences. He has also authored books like Interpersonal Communication and Essential Job Skills, Transaction in English, Springboard 3, Easy English, Soft Skill for Interpersonal Communication, and Treasure Hunt, which has been prescribed as textbooks for Tiruvallur University, Vellore, and Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. He has also edited the books, Methods and Materials for Teaching English Language and Literature, Volume 1 and 2, and Applied Linguistic and Language Teaching. He has also organized many UGC-sponsored national-level seminar and workshop to the faculties and students, and has credits of publishing articles under UGC-approved journals. Sir, it is indeed a great pleasure to have you amidst us. I now request you to take over the session.
Sir, are you there, sir? Balasubramaniam, sir, are you there?
Yes.
What do you now, sir?
May I
We
come
would
in?
love to hear you, sir.
Okay. May I come in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, I welcome you to the 72nd Sunday Sagit Satsang, the e-seminar. And you may all be a little bit interested in the topic, symbols as text, paratext, and anti-text. Let me very briefly tell my plot, tell my main idea. Symbols are the earliest forms of writing. So men communicated through symbols, pictures, figures, and then they moved on to graph-like writing, which ultimately resulted in verbal text. But now there are many claims, then some unproven claims that symbols are also text. Symbols were text, they had been text for quite some time, but they are no more text. Okay, that is the main plot. Now, I should produce evidence to my argument. How do we say that symbols are pro-text? See, some 6,000 years ago, some people say it's 5,000 years ago, some 6,000 years ago, symbols were used to communicate. I mean, again, pictures. That's why we call it pictographic writing. And I term this pro-text. As you see from the screen, pro means period. This occurred in earlier time, and it represented something else. Like how we say pronoun, you know, a noun that represents another noun. Pro-text. They were the text, but they were in pictures, and I call them pro-text. See, the greatest discovery that humankind made is the distinction between artful pictures and writing pictures. Let me tell you, someone thought of deviating, separating art and writing. The pictographs were there, pictures were there. For example, a picture or a carving, a painting was subjective, and it served a aesthetic purpose or some religious purpose or any other purpose other than communication. For a long time, only pictures were used, and someone thought, a group or a race thought that there should be a difference between art and writing. Therefore, writing in the form of geometrical shapes, you know, came into existence. I term this proto-text because they are the symbols from which we derived a verbal text. Okay. I call the proto-text in the sense like how Proto-Indo-European languages and Proto-Germanic languages, how they yielded to Indo-European languages, how the Proto-Germanic language yielded various Romance languages, including English. So symbols are the proto-text. That is the point here. Now, symbols graphology. What do you mean by paratext? See, symbols were used as proto-text and the symbols were used as proto-text. Then they became paratext. Paratext are dependent text. You cannot use them alone, but you have to use them along with, besides as an integrated element of written text. For example, you see the symbols plus and dollar and pounds and symbols, which we use them, they are called parasymbols. So parasymbols, I don't think they can exist alone. but we need them in writing. Whereas in speech, we don't use, we pronounce a symbol, right? So they help organizing a written text. When you're writing a research article, for instance, you use that asterisk marks, we use the superscripts, numbers, and in the end, we explain in the footnote. So they are very helpful in writing. So even the use of capital letters, boldface, and italics, even iSPELL uses, Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature, I see the paratext there. Paratext are integral parts of text. So capital letters, boldface, italics, they all communicate graphologically. So they are called paratext. Now verbal text. Verbal text, is very efficient, I say precise, quick, and comfortable mode of human thought, and I will substantiate my points. Linguistics is a scientific study of verbal text. When you say, if you ask to define linguistics, you can easily say that it is a scientific study of verbal text. So the fact is that thought is shaped by language and it shapes language. It does both. See, that's why we are very comfortable with the monologues and the soliloquy. Monologues and soliloquy, they express the inner heart or the inner soul. Whereas semiotic studies, signs and symbols, again, I do understand, I do accept that linguistics is a part of semiotics, but it has come a long way. Okay. Even then, semiotic uses human language to interpret signs. When there is a sign, the signs, the symbols, they are interpreted in terms of language. I mean, any language. Now, symbols as anti-text. This is the main agenda today. There are many voices. They claim that symbols, figures, and pictures are also text. Right? Now, they urge readers to read and interpret pictures as good as text. They claim that the pictures are also text and they can communicate more than text. These are all the claims that have been coming for quite some time. They hold that modes of communication, symbols can surpass text. I term this claim is anti-text. Okay, so what I propose, or what I believe, literature is oral and written. Literature is not pictographic. Literature uses symbols. Thomas Hardy is known for symbols, and we say imagism, right? And we have pre-elaborate poetry, and they create symbols, they create images, but in words. Okay, they don't give the figures themselves. So I believe that literature is oral and written. To say that symbols can surpass text or symbols are text is an erroneous and superficial statement, and that is my point. Now, this is the present explications. Human languages create, store, communicate ideas. They communicate meanings and they communicate thoughts. They do all these things by using linguistic elements. Text is, my second explication is that text is only significantly verbal. Again, let me clarify myself. I don't say symbols do not communicate. Symbols do communicate. They communicate in varying degrees, but they are not text. Okay, and we will prove our point. Again, let me add, what is of symbols is true of signs, pictures, visuals, figures, emblems, and logos, right? I categorize them as symbols. Of course, a semiotrician may differ. You may come out with the differences between signs, pictures, and visuals and figures. And I am not a semiotician. Moreover, the paper, right now, we are dealing, we are analyzing whether pictures can be text or rather why it's wrong to classify pictures as text. Okay. Now, I looked at different dictionaries. Webster's Comprehensive Dictionary, and then Macmillan Dictionary for Advanced Learners and Oxford Learners Dictionary, and all the dictionaries maintain that a text is essentially verbal. I saw 7 definitions for the word text, and I have given them verbatim in the presentation, and all of them, all the 7 insist that a text is a written one, written in words. So there is not even secondary meaning to claim that pictures are text, starting from the first meaning and ending with the seventh meaning. The word text means written. This is particular reference. Now, we cannot deny that. We cannot deny the linguistic facts. Pictographic and ideographic writing systems are the earliest ones. We do accept that writing was originally pictographic or ideographic. And what's the difference between pictographs? The pictographs represent objects and they are iconic. Okay, they use that icon. They represent objects. And how to represent the abstract things? Right? Someone thought of representing the idea, the abstract things. Then ideographs came into existence and they represent ideas and symbolic. The problem is that, for instance, a circle O uses an ideograph might represent the sun, summer, or light, or heat, and so forth. Here, we can perceive a problem. We don't know whether that symbol, whether it is pictograph or ideograph, whether it represents sun or summer. Okay. An ideographic system did not represent words or sounds, the making of the words. It's a very great disadvantage was that there was no representation of speech. Speech did not have representation, and speech is the earliest skill, and speech is the primary skill. Okay, but it had no representation. It existed only in YAB, right? So ideographs did not indicate pronunciation. Then what happened? We have the proto-text, that is a logographic system. Logographic. So individual symbols came to associate with certain sounds in a standardized fashion. So I consider that the introduction of sounds, is another step forward in the development of writing system. This system is called logographic. Even now in China, logographic writing system is followed, of course, partially. A logograph, it's a character of combination of characters. It's a character combination of characters used to represent a word. So the idea of word came into existence. Besides the idea of word, the introduction and the permutation of the sound system is a step ahead of pictorial writing. See how they worked towards the standardization of writing system, how they thought, how they extracted the work from cognition, and how we developed the writing system, and how flexible the system is now we have, right? And how can we equate such system with pictures? That's my concern. Then we have syllabic writing. So here in this stage, it came to be associated with sounds. This we call syllabic writing. So syllabic writing, the problem is that it did not use vowels. So a word like went, could be written with the WNT. So there is no vowel. So the cuneiform writing is earliest syllabic writing. This cuneiform writing looks like pictographs, or they are pictographs, but they involve the sound system, association with sound. So Sumerians developed the writing system, then it spread to Babylonians, and then Akkadians. They used symbols to write their language. See how the step by step or rather gradual developments did not happen all of a sudden over centuries. It's very difficult to fix, divide the face. And Semitic languages like Arabic and Hebrew were syllabic. These languages did not have vowel sounds. That's rather disadvantage. Then we moved on to the hieroglyphic writing system of Egypt. The hieroglyphic writing system, how the clay was hardened, how the writings were molded on it. It was a very ornate writing system, a decorative writing system. It's very difficult. It was basically syllabic, but still it was not easy, or it was difficult to inscribe the pictures, or the picture like letters, whatever it be. Then the hieroglyphic writing system was simplified. It was called a hieratic script. And after some time gave way to demotic right? So hieroglyphic, very ornate, and hieroglyphics ornate, and demotic, a simplified form of somewhat pictographic writing. Okay, in all these times, people might have thought, our ancestors might have thought a lot about language. That's why we associate language with thought and the thought with the language. Standardization of writing system. Then introduction of exclusive symbols, right? And there came for science, signs for graphs for consonant and vowel sounds. This we call syllabic writing, and some scholars call it syllabic. So the combination of sounds, graphemes, phonetic pictures, and language emerges as a linguistic element. From pictographs, from semiotics, with the standardization of writing system, language become an independent study, an independent science, right? As a linguistic system, writing was coming to be capacious and standardized. Capacious, it developed all its capacity. It became independent. It became independent of science. It became flexible, precise, right? And it became standardized. I'm talking about writing as a system, and of course, not with reference to any particular language. Standardization of writing system, speech is transient. Even now, we regard speech. But imagine, thousands of years ago, where speech is even now speech is transient, unless we regard it. So writing attempts represent speech. But for writing, I don't think languages would have developed. Writing system contributes much towards the standardization of, towards the development of, towards the evolution of human language. So it attempts to represent speech, and it attempts to standardize speech. Speech is a variant, it's not only transient, it is a variant, whereas writing tries to attempts to standardize it, and writing in the process attempts to standardize itself. Through all these procedures, writing attempts to standardize language. Now, writing systems represents sound, it represents thought, and it represents meaning together simultaneously. That is why I say languages become capacious, and I don't think we need to accept the statement pictures or text, right? So writing systems are based on some aspects of meaning structure at one level, such as word or morpheme. At some aspect, it represents a sound system, such as phoneme or syllable. Now, alphabetic writing system. What are the advantages of alphabetic writing system? Alphabetic writing system makes a direct correspondence between graphemes and phonemes. Direct correspondence. Okay. Now, the alphabet derives from a writing system devised by the Phoenician merchants 4,000 years ago, and it was developed in a hieroglyphic system. The alphabetic writing system immediately descended from hieroglyphic system, right? See, though the words are represented by pictures, they become phonetics. A Phoenician is a Semitic language. From the Phoenician, the Greeks created an alphabet. Alphabet is symbols representing vowels and consonants. Introduction of symbols for vowels is another milestone in the development of writing system, the development and evolution of language. See, actually, alphabet means the alpha and beta, the first two letters of the Greek letter system. From this came the Etruscan alphabet, and from Etruscan provided the model for Roman alphabet. Okay, now alphabet is a major invention of the West, right? See what are the benefits that the West is reaping because of this discovery of the alphabet system. I will tell you. Now, alphabet is a mode of analytical thinking. It helps you promote, develop your cognition. That is analytical thinking. It breaks down syllables. Syllable writing believes that the syllable is the minimal unit, whereas it proved that phonemes, right? So it a more basic conscience. It can be subtle differences in meaning. Using that alphabet, you can communicate very subtle differences. So even two-letter word like in and on, we make a lot of difference, right? It can express great many functions served with speech. It requires familiarization with orthography. If a reader is familiar with the orthography, then he can read the text. He need not take a pen or something like that, and he need not go on drawing something, which may be a very difficult exercise. It allows the readers to decipher words newly encountered. So when a new word has to be created, out of the alphabet, we take the letters and kind of new word. We did not imagine the word. We did not have a look at the word. We did not visualize the word, right? So we hear the sound or we invent a word, we assign it a name, like how we are naming a baby. See, the alphabet writing system creates proper names. It helps the creation of proper names. The creation of proper names is a formidable problem for their non-alphabetic systems. And non-alphabetic writing systems are probably very difficult or literally impossible to give proper names. If you ask a child to tell its name, the child will be hesitant because the name is one's primary property. When one's name is mispronounced or misspelled, we feel offended, right? And but for alphabetic writing, I don't think we can have personal pronouns. And now, linguistic merits. It's explicit, it's precise, it's easy, and it's productive, though arbitrary. So why do we call a stone a stone? It's arbitrary, right? But still, that system is explicit, that system is precise, and the system is easy. Again, it allows the reader to make a short distinction between deciphering and interpreting. Deciphering means understanding. Understanding is one thing, and interpreting is another thing, right? So many historians strongly propose that alphabet is decisive in democratization of writing, right? See, historians believe that writing is a survival tool, is an instrument to maintain democracy. People read, people become literate by reading, right? So the new Encyclopedia Britannica maintains that the science and the philosophy of the West reign supreme because of the discovery of the alphabet, right? So this is the discovery of new Encyclopedia Britannica, and now pictures and common writing systems we should distinguish. So what Algebraic says, logographic writing requires thousands of different symbols. Thousands. When you think of a new picture, unheard, it was very difficult. Moreover, the alphabetic writing requires as was 13 letters as in the Hawaiian language. And there are languages that require some dozen letters. Okay, imagine the difference between several dozen and thousands, more than thousands actually. And see, writing system was invented. People say that writing system was invented to memory purpose. So mnemonic techniques. But subsequently they came to, archival purpose, storing purpose, and the communicative purpose. Pictorial science as at present, I say that pictures communicate, symbols communicate, and they are widely and frequently used. Everywhere we see that pictorial communication. But the viewer perceives the meaning without any knowledge of a particular language. Suppose, you look at a woman's compartment in a train, you find it, maybe written in the regional language or English or Hindi, but you look at the picture of a female figure and you come to the conclusion that it's meant for reserved for women. But you see the picture, but you interpret, you give the interpretation in terms of a language, the language that you know. And every human being knows a language, right? See a female figure on a train compartment, an elliptical way of writing a woman's compartment. Elliptical way, an elongated way. It's not a direct way, but an indirect way. Instead of writing, or it is written, right? Now, for that matter, a human figure with an upraised hand is assumed to signify greeting. Okay, so and we see the welcome pictures, and we see the caution pictures, and we see the picture of baby on board, and we see various signs, even colors communicate. signals communicate, right? They are all widely used in everyday communication. How do these pictures communicate? Imply a high-level linguistic structure known to the viewer. The viewer, whoever looks at it, knows some language and interprets the picture in terms of the language that he knows. And moreover, they express one of a highly restricted range of meanings, and they use this is what called a technique of exclusion. What is the technique of exclusion? You see the picture of woman on a train compartment, you understand that it's meant only for women. It is not meant for anybody else. So this is called exclusion technique, right? They express meanings elliptically, express ideas of thoughts. We cannot say they, they form coherence and they use cohesive devices, and we cannot say they form that fluid communication. Moreover, there is another problem. A particular meaning can be conveyed by a variety of visual signals, right? Now, recognizing pictures is called environmental literacy. We need literacy, right? Logograms and trademarks are very common. And the ability to comprehend pictures is called environmental literacy. Again, this environmental literacy is bound to the context where you find the picture, particular picture. It's useful in everyday communication, but it is not linked with, it is not connected with textbooks and schooling. It is not pedagogic literacy. Everyone learns to understand the picture because he or she has a language, and it does not signify pedagogic literacy. And literacy actually involves a high-level cognitive functions, reading and writing, or writing and reading. Now, this is the definition of cognitive literacy, right? And the two, the second one, civil virtues are connected with reading and writing. Civilization, civil virtues, since the 18th century, right? So even we understand that the Renaissance, Renaissance came up because of the revival of reading of the classics. Okay. Now, as we're discussing language, we have to discuss numbers, because literacy means knowing the words, reading and writing. It also means knowing the numbers. So numbers have a particular orthography for representing meaning, and it permits the users to carry out mathematical operations. Actually, it is assigned different phonological equivalents in different languages. See, a number, any number can have a linguistic equivalent. That is what my point is. So for instance, number 2 is 2 in English, dix in French, zwei in German, and dos in Spanish. The point here is that the numerals represent a piece of language. Okay. Again, say our IQ or intelligence or whatever it be is tested with the syllogism and reading comprehension. So even the national eligibility test and the state eligibility test, they test our ability to read and comprehend. Right? Even when there is a graph, they assess us how good we are in verbalizing the graphs. I do understand the screening and recruitment test require us to solve the problem figures. Some 4 figures will be given, 1 figure will be different, and we are supposed to identify that, which falls in the gap, something like that. But even while assessing, identifying the problem figures, we think in terms of language. Moreover, any test, any screening test, any recruitment test attaches importance to syllogism and reading comprehension, or more importance to interpretation of graphs, syllogism, and reading comprehension. I do understand numbers are important, but numbers can have the equivalent verbal text. Okay, and there are occasions when we use language more than the figures. So there are historical limitations. It's very difficult to fix when and where exactly the sound system came to be associated with the written system. writing has been there, pictographic, logographic, ideographic, logographic, and the hieroglyphic, and then we have the syllabic writing. And when and where exactly the sound system came to be associated with the letters is very difficult to trace. I understand, but one thing is sure, pictures evolved into uh, alphabetic writing. Say limitations of pictographs. I have given you two quotes. The one idea, the second one I'm dealing with. Suppose in ideography, you have to represent the idea that the king killed a lion. Then you have to take the picture of a man with his insignia of his office, a scepter perhaps, or a crown. And he holds a spear in his hand. And just in front of him, we see the lion. It means that the king killed a lion. But language is very precise, whether the king is about to kill a lion, or the king has killed a lion, or the king is killing a lion, right? The tense, I mean, we can also use the passive voice, and all these advantages are with the language and with the written text. Again, if the king killed 3 lions, then you have to draw the picture of the king, and you have to draw the picture of 3 lions. I don't think it will be convenient. And let me tell you the properties of human language. You may all be very familiar with the properties of human language. Reflexivity. We use the language to talk about language. Right? I suppose I say, language is an excellent mode of communication. I use language to talk about language. So it offers a property, right? It's human property. I would rather say displacement. Even when I am not near an elephant, even when I am not near a whale, right? I refer to those things. That is, displacement is a unique property of language. I just like that to take a paper. I just like that I use the 3 words, right? God knows the universe, right? And I can communicate my idea. It comes, as Crystal says, enables us to talk about events remote in space or time from the situation. And it is arbitrary. As I told you, the association between what you call significant and signified is arbitrary. Productivity. We can go on producing any number of sentences using that alphabet. Infinite. The token is finite, but the production is infinite. And the duality of structure is another feature, another linguistic feature. See, we produce a language, a word at 2 level. For instance, when you pronounce the words like, letters like N, B, I, we pronounce them as individual words. They do not have any interesting meaning. But at the second level, we can produce words like bin and nib. So how convenient. Similarly, the word like top, pot, and when we say OTP, one-time password, right? How do we represent these ideas in pictures? That's my wonderment. Yeah, and see, you say you're taking the 4 letters, say SPOT, you say spot, and you say parts, and you say tops, right? This is what we call the duality of structure. Now, when Andrew Martin is a linguist, he also says he is all praise for language for the duality of structure, and Crystal makes it clear in one blow. Duality of structure is not present in body language. It's not for body language in the sense when pictographs or pictures are, whatever it be. Grammar actually is a system for mapping and establishing a relationship among sound, meaning, and thought. How to bring them in a triangular relationship. Grammar makes it. Word order arranges our thoughts. Whatever, see, there are languages that have SPO order, SOV order, OSV order, but that order is fixed. Some languages have flexible patterns. The word order does not merely arrange the sentence, it arranges our thoughts. Okay. Now, body language and gestures. So Crystal says we cannot build up a wide range of body language sentences. Body language cannot be analyzed into levels of structure, right? we cannot divide it into subject and predicate system. right? We cannot distinguish between active voice and passive voice. These linguistic properties are not available with body language, right? It enables us to talk elsewhere. Gesture, they do not form a regular language. See, pictures similarly represent events, but do not represent language. They are not a form of writing. Pictures are not a form of writing. Pictures were form of writing, but they are no more forms of writing. Now, photographs and visuals. Can we do without the photographs and visuals? No, we can't do. As Intelligent says, they are neutral representations. And she calls them technological windows of the world. But any photograph must be illuminated by a verbal text, right? See, when a visual text shares a meaning, we have to be very careful. It can convey very different meanings. The problem is also that. See, again, our body can express anger or happiness or displeasure, but the reason for that must be put out in terms of words, right? In terms of verbal text. A sentence can be made longer using connectives. So you can say, I'm sorry, and you can say, I'm very sorry, and you can add, I'm very sorry for holding you for a longer time, right? See, the problem is that there is no productivity in tactile or visual body language. It is not productive. So you may know, what are just running in the family. If you have read it, you may have noticed that there is a map in the memoir, and the photograph of his parents also appear, right? More than the photographs, the caption he gives is very important. A fine romance. Then we immediately understand how it was a love and it's a love marriage. And in the map, he gives the, when he identifies some 15 or 16 places, right? But only when the place is described. For example, it describes Vilpati jungle. We are slightly drunk with this place. See how Ondaji diversifies. We are slightly drunk with this place. The beautiful house, the animals which are appearing now, and the tough, cold rain, turning the hot back the earth into the mud, into red mud. All of us are in solitude. I fall in love with this versification rather than the map. Perhaps the map may add some meaning. Now, visual communication and verbal expression. In science and technology, visuals are seen as the complete and explicit way of expressing things. In study of science, pictures of plants, animals, very, very important. But words become their commentary complements. What is what? How they function. Even if you take advertisements, any kind of advertisements, we are, ruled by the figures. But to tell us of the, say, suppose we expect information of the product, where it's available and its price, then we need language, right? And a photograph, can be interpreted in many ways in the absence of text, right? So visual communications, they are aesthetic, they are direct but limited. In a passport, we need a photograph, and in identity card and in certificate, we need the photograph. But the photograph must be followed by the details of biodata, and we need a language. Linguistic features like morpheme, morphological study. See how we say boy, singular, boys, plural, boys with happens to be boys, without happens to be boyish, right? So you have the word how. From the word love, we construct any number of words: love, lovable, lovably, lovely, lovers, lovelier, and we go for degrees of comparison. We have to consider these facilities, and we have to consider the facility of phonemes and about adjectives, right? When you say he is a good girl, and when you say he is a dull student, how are we to express these ideas in photographs? How difficult it will be, and when we go for degrees of comparisons. Or when we compare abstract ideas, right? Very simply put it, now we say happy man and a noisy engine. When we say he is a happier man, see, again, my point is that such of these things, will make will find very difficult with pictures. The adverbs we use, the girl crossed the road carelessly or carefully, it makes all the difference. Okay, so all language has words, and the words are the most accessible linguistic units to the layman. There is a point of under at food. Okay, and then grammar. So we communicate, language communicates in terms of classes, phrases, and they can be made into larger units of thought and meaning. Right? Pictures can communicate only one reserved idea, but language, gives you thoughts and meanings. Right? From that sentence, you can enlarge the sentence into sermons or poems and stories, and you can come for different genres. Epistolary novel. Now, what we do, right? Epistolary novels in pictures, right? And the inflection properties, case markers, using a word. See, you write ADVAC is a verbal form, and ADVACE is the nominal form, right? And what will happen to the theory of transformation generative grammar if we rely, if we claim that pictures are text, right? And Tom C. Needs no introduction what he says of grammar and what he says of linguistic competence and performance. You can recall at this moment. Braille system. Braille system is a written system, right? I don't say tactile movements are useless. I cannot say because Braille system, but for the Braille system, visually challenged people may not be able to read. So Braille system is an excellent mode of communication, and we say depth signing. We see the American Sign Language and British Sign Language. So these sign languages have symbols for A. This is A. They say this is B. They function well, but within the limits. What I believe of the pattern poet, in which the pattern itself represents the object. For example, the picture of the lion, right? If it is about a line, it is written in the format, in the syllable of a line. Such of these things are written for the blind. When there are poets who can think of pattern poetry and figure poetry and shaped verse. In Tamil, they call it Chitrakavi, right? Where do we think of, pictures as text? Now, for information, this is a sonnet, which you can read leisurely later, right? The penultimate line, I have made it larger so that you can get a glimpse of it very quickly. He says that Shakespeare and Garrick are like twin stars shall shine. I can't ask you how many of you know Shakespeare, but I can ask you how many of you know Garrick. And if there is a person called Garrick, how can he be a co-star of Shakespeare? Right? So Shakespeare and Garrick, like twin stars, shall shine, and earth in irradiate with beam divine. Right? Now, let me tell you, Charles Lamb has penned an essay called On the Tragedies of Shakespeare. It is subtitled Considered with reference to the fitness for stage performance, stage presentation. Okay. See, the context is that once he happened to visit the Westminster Abbey, where he saw the picture of Garrick. Garrick was a hero, stage performer who used to enact the Shakespearean tragic heroes. Right? Oh, Lamb was shocked, perplexed when he saw that an actor was equated with the poetic genius. He was not able to bear that. Then he says, he is against the adulation of exaggerated stage performance. He declares that the sonnet is a parable of false starts and nonsense. This is what the remarks on the sonnet. The sonnet that has been written in praise of Garrick. The statue of Garrick is standing in a, in a theatrical airs and gestures. Garrick is standing there. Lamb sees that, surprised, and he comes out with this observation. He calls it affected attitude of a figure, right? He calls it a Harlequin figure, right? So he very poetically puts it, I was not a little scandalized. It's a duel with exaggerating stage performance. Why? This is Lamb's substantiations. One is that Shakespeare has absolutely mastered over the heart and soul of man. He got the powers of originating poetical images. He writes of the internal workings of the great mind of an Othello or a Hamlet. Hamletian dilemma, to be or not to be. Do you think he talks to the audience? He talks to himself. When we are in pain, what do we do? Don't we talk to ourselves? Right? Do we go and sit and draw pictures? Garrick had only the faculty to recite, use the gestural tricks upon the eye and ear of the audience. Right? You know, Emily Dickinson, the greatest poetess of America, or what you call New England. Her father did not allow her to read anything else except the Bible. But she stealthily wrote Shakespeare. She stealthily read Shakespeare and concluded, why is any other book needed? She never had any opportunity of watching the plays being performed. She read Shakespeare without the knowledge of her father and concluded, why is any other book needed? Right? Shakespeare talks to the reader. Again, this is a substantiation. Gestures cannot compare internal workings of mind. They can only enact anger or grief generally. Reading makes slow apprehension and understanding. Then who else wants drama? Unlettered persons cannot read. So they depend on stage players. They depend on performance. But this is also true. Nobody can extract something from the text without ready to take some pains. That's why Vladimir Nabokov remarked, poems are lexical playfields. Poems are the playfields for lexis. So this is the resolution. I come to reasonable thinking takes place as we work out problems when you tell stories and plan strategies. And this is called rational thinking or direct thinking or logical thinking or prepositional thinking. Right? Language is important for this kind of thinking. Language, without language, there is no thinking. And visuals are communicative, but not text. We do use figures of speech, metaphors, similes, and so on, personifications. We use, right? We are in favor of figures of speech, but not figures. That is a resolution I come to. And catechism is a place where I learn, or whether we learn from a kind of conversation. May I appeal to you, please understand me, focus on the main plot. If you want to, or when you want to raise questions, focus on the main part. That is, text is verbal and symbols and signs are not verbal. You can bring in ideas like, can pictures be text, why and how? Or why can't pictures be text? Suppose I have been added some valid points. I might have missed, you can add them. Or if you have read papers or presentations or some supporting ideas to prove that the pictures are also text, you can come out with them. Okay. Thank you very much for lending your listening ears. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sparking us with your knowledgeable words. Now the session is open for the discussion. I think, sir, the chat box is filled with the appreciation comments as well as the questions. The related questions we have.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for the inconvenience. And we have a question by Vijaya Narasimha. Dear sir, how do you describe, categorize the unique calls of street side vendors, like how they pronounce the names of the things they sell? This is what the question of Vijaya Narasimha sir.
This is a phonological issue. There are some languages that coordinate writing and that phonology, and English, a language like English, you may not find any coordination. Okay. Now, if you could stick on to the topic, that varies from language to language, whether it is a phonetic language or a non-phonetic language. English is a non-phonetic language where there is no coordination between spelling and the pronunciation. Okay, it's a language specific issue. Unless he mentions the language and I know the language, it's very difficult to answer him. It's a phonological and phonetic issue.
I think, can we move on to the next question, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay. We have one more appreciation, a kind of appreciation as well as a question by Dr. A.S. Puvama. But simply literary symbols are object, actions, plays, words, colors, and sometimes character that signifies something different from their original meaning. Symbolism then is the use of a symbols with a story. Since symbol is one of many literary devices used not only to bring more meaning to a story, but also to make it more captivating. Why should we have to look at symbols as protext or paratext or antitext? Isn't then a symbol a part of literature? This is what the question that we have got from A.S. Puvama.
See, I mean, Herrick writes, my love is like a red, red rose. It does not draw the way, picture of rose. The problem is that there is too much reliance on appreciation of photographs and things like selfies. I don't say literature should be divided of symbols. Symbol is one thing, symbolism is another thing. And Hardy is a symbolist, right? And we have imagism. And we have artful representation in the free Raphaelite poetry. Symbols we need, but that symbol must be created in words. Symbolism is one thing, symbol is another thing, and symbols as text is yet another thing. So we need symbols. Nobody can prevent the use of symbols. Lion is a symbol of strength, right? So the kings of England, they are equated with the lions. The insignia of the king, or the crown of the king, signifies kingdom. We cannot do away with symbols. How can we do away with symbols? But why we attach importance, why do we prize, why do we place photographs and text above the verbal text? That is my point. Right?
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the information, sir. And I have to take few minutes to just put in the appreciation that has been sent by different eminent scholars and participants. They are really very happy and telling that it was an informative talk in simple language, clarified many concepts and doubt. And also Dr. Shalini Yadav ma'am putting that it is a Pandora of information shared by Subramanya sir. It's highly informative. I request sir to share the PPT with iSPELL later if possible. So lucid presentation.
I can share.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Indeed, it's a great sign of exchange. And lucid presentation on signs and symbol. And Kamaljit ma'am Yadav has to say that it was a wonderful elicitation. It is highly informative, sir. And Dr. Indrani ma'am telling that it was an excellent deliberation and it was very informative, and thanking you for the same. And it was an insightful presentation. And everybody says, Rajalakshmi ma'am is to say that what a blessed evening listening to my professor after years. Thank you, sir, and team of iSPELL for this learning opportunity. Thank you, sir. Indeed, It was a great pleasure listening to you on literature, is oral and writing, and it is the text which plays a very significant role, and also throwing light on the gradual development of the script coming from different civilization unto the present modern world of writing. Thank you, sir, and thank you for the great presentation. And moving on, now I would like to give a precise introduction of today's chairperson, Dr. Arpit Gaur Kacha. Ma'am is a senior assistant professor in English at Government Kamala Devi Rati PG Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Rajnandagaon, Chhattisgarh. She has 36 years of teaching experience in higher education and also visited various institutions as resource expert and chaired technical session at national seminars. Ma'am has published articles in national and international journals. Our area of interest are feminism, women writers, psychoanalysis, and American literature. She has, to her credit, completion of UGC-sponsored MRP titled Identifying Learning Disabilities and Their Overcomes, with special reference to English language learners and teachers of government colleges of Rajnandagaon district, Chhattisgarh, as a principal investigator. Dr. Karcha has been a member of Board of Studies of University and Autonomous College. She has presented papers in national and international seminar, conferences, and workshops. Besides teaching and research, she has served in NCC as an associate NCC officer for 19 years with A grade during both pre-commission and fresher promotion courses at WOTS Gwalior. She is the president of iSPELL Chhattisgarh Forum. She is also an active member of organizations like Indo-American Center for Research Studies, Hyderabad, AINET, LITI, and INTACH, and has organized various national and international workshop and webinar. It is a privilege to have you with us today, ma'am. I request ma'am to address the gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vrinda, ma'am, for your flowery introduction. At the outset, I take this opportunity to extend my greetings and reverence to our keynote speaker, Dr. S. Balasubramaniam Ji, Dr. G. A. Ghansham, the Master of iSPELL, our President, Dr. Anupama Vohra, and our PRO, Dr. Shalini Yadav, and of course, Dr. Captain Indrani, ma'am, for this the opportunity which she has given me. I would like to thank her, and I would like to congratulate Indrani ma'am for your deft and meticulous coordination of all the satsangs of this month. Indeed, ma'am, the crowning glory of success goes to your head. Now coming to the lecture today, Dr. Subramaniam's deliberation on symbols as pro-text, paratext, and anti-text has been very commendable. It was very graphic and illustrative and comprehensive exposition of the subject. He has explicated the diversity of symbolism to show the changing patterns of symbols. The first part is mostly descriptive and interpretative and tries to bring out the different forms of symbolism. And the second part, he tried to bring out the different kind of changes that are possible with regards to symbol. He started with the earliest forms of writing and specifically highlighted the pictographic, and they're moving on to the ideographic and logographic writings. He has also talked about the symbolic writing followed by the alphabetic writing, which was the last emergence with respect to symbols, which represent the sound and meaning. He has really elaborated on the symbols And we are to understand that alphabetic writings emerged later, and it represents sound and meaning. And pictographic are protexts which paved way for alphabetic writing system, which is the linguistic feature of the symbols. Even though he even contradicted the claim that the pictures and figures are text and proved it to be erroneous. He has elaborated on the fact that text is verbal and pictures, though they communicate, but are not exactly texts. Sir, you have an commendable expertise in the subject and your study is voracious. The last 1 hour has been a great brainstorming session for all of us. You handled the subject from every perspective, turning it reverse, upside down, and downside up, shuffling it in every possible angle to give new insight and thought to the paratext, protext, and antitext symbology. Symbolism as a literary device has always looked obscure and incomprehensible to many of us right from our school days or even to college days for that matter. Any text, be it Raven of Edgar Allan Poe or The Wasteland of T.S. Eliot, it has always been awe-inspiring and appeared like a mountain to understand. But sir, I must say that you have turned that mountain into a molehill. And today, symbolism doesn't appear to be that difficult to comprehend as it used to be in the earlier days. I could never imagine that such complex, intricate, complicated device to be made so simple and comprehensive. You have unraveled the untangled and untangled all the cobwebs in our mind regarding symbolism by giving meaning and analyzing the relationship between symbols and
Oh, ma'am, I think power failure is there. Indrani, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I think power cut is there at Dr. Harpreet ma'am's end.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just find out.
ऐसे करते हैं।
Yes, ma'am. Were you able to see you, ma'am? You can mute your mic.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so you have unraveled and untangled all the cobwebs in our minds regarding symbolism by giving meaning and analyzing the relationship between the symbols and things exactly as they are and needed to understand, and the artistic device, meaning, and the cultures. Here, I would like to explain that, symbols are not only a literary device. It
No, ma'am.
like just a second.
Yes, ma'am. Now audible.
Yeah, very good, correct. Yes. Symbolism began as an artistic movement in the French poetry in the 19th century to combat realism in favor of romanticism. It comes from the Latin word symbolis, which means a sign of recognition. Now, this recognition gives both literal and figurative meaning to the text and the words. And I would suggest that symbolism exists beyond literature and can be found in everyday life. Rather, it is an integral part of our life, and it is also embedded in every culture. According to Leslie, I quote, "It was the exercise of the symbolic faculty that brought culture into existence, and it is the use of symbols that makes the perpetuation of culture possible. Without the symbols, there would be no culture, and man would be merely an animal, not a human being." Unquote. The above quote from Leslie White puts the significance of symbolic faculty of men at the center of cultural process in toto and makes a differentiating mark of human and animals. All our contact with the world outside is based on symbols. As even Sir has elaborated, our language is nothing but symbols. The scripts are still more so. Our art, our poetry. In fact, every aspect of our life is based on symbols. And it would not be wrong to say that we think in symbols, we act in symbols, we believe in symbols, and we learn in symbols. Though man and his life also ultimately uh, are symbolic, there are more evident symbols in a man's creation. And these symbols are the substitute of and suggestions of abstract things. They are more concrete in nature. Thus, superimposing an idea and a thing or evoking a deity in an image is nothing but symbolism. And we have ample of this in our movies. Even it has become a cinematic technique to be symbolic. And for example, we in one of the movies, you had uh, the son Rahul Amir Khan showing his architectural designs for his father Bomin Irani, and at the background you had a lion, pouncing on a zebra. Now this is in the beginning of the movie, and this theme continues till the end, meaning that zebra stands for Amir Khan, who's under the dominance of the father, or the lion, which is the father. So, and then there's another symbolism of the ties, So unless he has to be free, unless he has to liberate, he has to break up the ties. So there's another symbolism in the end when he leaves the house and he throws away his tie, being symbolic of the fact that the ties have been broken. So again, this tie, which the necktie, is again symbolic of the various family ties which bind us to do many things which we really don't want to do. So such type of symbolism are prevalent in cinemas. And then the national flag, the flags which connotate many meanings, which are symbols of patriotism, and which evoke many type of emotions in human beings. The national anthem being played in the Dangal, when he's locked up, Amir Khan is locked up inside the house and inside the room, and he doesn't know which team has won. So it is only when the national anthem is played he can realize, no, it is his country which has won. So many such examples, in the cinemas and in literature is replete with symbols where something is implied and you have to reveal something which is unsaid, which is unrevealed. It conceals something to reveal something else. So this sort of symbolism is an artistic device which are generally used by the writer to create a meaning, to create a beauty, to form a thematic structure. So, and then such type of examples, you find in literature also, but considering you can't even see my face, and then considering the shortage of time which we have, I will not go into detail, but I would just say that symbols are used for both concealment and revelation. They conceal partly the essential content from an ordinary person, and they partly reveal it by suggesting it. This again by examples I've given from the movies, but I'd also like to give a few examples from the text in literature. But ma'am, do I have the time?
Indrani ma'am?
No. Okay, fine.
Continue, ma'am.
So this symbol making tendency is innate in man. Even psychoanalysis, it argues that it is by the symbolization process that an infant apprehends reality and endures it with values. So a symbol does not have a meaning by itself. It is the meaning which we endure to the symbol that it gains significance. For example, like it is again embedded in our culture, it is embedded in our day-to-day life. For example, like especially in Indian culture, the bangle, the sandoor, the Mangal Sutra, what are they? This is the meaning which we have attached to those objects. So the moment we see those symbols, we connotate the meaning. So the meaning is automatically relieved, and the significance is automatically attached. So a symbol reduces the enormous complexity of communication, and by using a concrete sign as a kind of shorthand for a complex interrelated concept and ideas, values to the system. So this is all about symbolism from my side, and Sir Subramaniam sir has expounded it so well. I have said enough about him. Nothing could be better. And really, sir, nothing. You have made it so simple, so easier. The way you have elaborated on the theme. So as in this was the most difficult literary device to understand, to comprehend, and most complicated as well, most complex as well, a bit difficult to understand, but then you have made it, as I said, a molehill out of a mountain. So thank you so much, sir. My sincere regards to Indrani ma'am for such beautiful conducting all the sessions. I have attended all. I've been a part of all the sessions, and I'm very happy, and it gives me immense pleasure that you've made me a part of it by giving me this opportunity. Thank you, iSPELL, and thank you, Indrani ma'am. Thank you so much being a part of it.
Thank you so much. You did justice by summing up all these things. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your knowledgeable words. Thank you for giving us the importance of symbolism by saying that it is an artistic device to create the beauty, meaning, and structuralism, and also making the concept very simple and understandable by quoting contemporary issues and taking the cinematic example. And we wish to hear you in future about your ideas on symbolism related to literature. For the shortage of time, I'm very sorry. And moving on to the next session of the program, we have a distribution of the certificate. Before going into that, I would like to put an insight on Dr. Shalini Yadav ma'am. She is a PRO of iSPELL who has contributed a lot in reaching the people and seeding the seed of iSPELL amongst the like-minded literary fraternity. She is a well-acclaimed and highly recognized writer and has published many anthologies to her credits. Now, ma'am, I request Dr. Shalini Yadav to distribute the certificates.
Thank you, Vrunda ma'am, for nice introduction. First of all, I would like to thank Bala Subramaniam sir for such a nice lecture. It was completely you can say Pandora of information. You have elaborated each and everything, and in a very nice way, from graphemes to phonemes to morphemes, each and everything you have elaborated well, and you brought it from language to literature. You amalgamated everything, and then you brought it in such a big and you can say highly informative way. And finally, we could meet here on this virtual platform. I feel privileged and honored to give you this I feel privileged and honored to give you this certificate today on behalf of iSPELL India. Please take it, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I feel honored. It's my privilege to receive it from you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's one of my greatest moments.
Even I'm humbled to have you here, and I got the chance to listen to you today.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, it's a very proud moment. I receive it from you, ma'am, particularly.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Next, yes, Harpreet ma'am has become, you can say, a symbol of being a chairperson now in iSPELL India. And always, ma'am brings lots of good ideas, and so gracefully, ma'am, you have chaired the session, even though there were some technical glitches in between. But with such a grace, you sum up the session that I'm always, you can say, a big fan of you. This certificate goes to you, Harpreet ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your kind words. You are an inspiration for everyone, ma'am.
No, ma'am, I'm just a learner. You are the inspiration.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Vrunda ma'am, you have moderated the session in such a way that I'm really, you can say, inspired a lot, and feeling quite humble to honor you with the certificate. And I'm not honoring you, I'm feeling honored to give you the certificate today. Please accept it on behalf of iSPELL India.
Thank you, ma'am. Indeed, I'm so honored and privileged to receive the certificate. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So now here the captain is of January month. So what to say about the captain of January month? All the lecture series of January month are so you can say well organized by ma'am, and from you can say from teaching English in India to being a productive teacher in aeon of technology, till today's lecture, and in between related to contemporary literature and theories, and related to courage, the lecture related to courage was, you can say, completely prevailed in the air of SSS, or the courage in each and every one. So this certificate goes to you, Indrani ma'am, and I really feel honored to give you the certificate for your valuable contribution, and how you brought people, and how you tried to fulfill the motto of iSPELL India: facilitate to elevate, reaching the far and wide, you can say, areas, and bringing people from there, and selecting different topics, varied range of topics you brought on the platform in this month, making it a, you can say, amalgamated kind of, where linguistics was also there, and literature was also there. Both kind of lectures were there. So this is completely a successful month. The task is accomplished of the month, and the certificate goes to you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for such words. I'm honored, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And last not the least, I would like to say that I would like to thank Professor G.A. Ghanshyam sir, Professor Anupama Vohra ma'am, vice presidents, joint secretaries, everybody believing in me and giving me this responsibility to today to give the certificates. Thanks once again.
Continue.
I hand it over to you, Indrani ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Brenda, continue, Brenda.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It was indeed a pleasure to have been receiving the certificate. And moving on, feeling gratitude and not expressing it, it's like wrapping a present and not giving it. On behalf of iSPELL Karnataka Forum, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. S. Balasubramaniam, our today's resource person. Dr. Arpit Gaur Kacha, ma'am, for chairing the session. Dr. Indrani, ma'am, for being the convener and coordinating the events, and all the EC members for making this program a successful one. Last but not the least, I thank all the research scholars, students, and participants for joining us virtually and making it a successful one. And I would also like to extend my gratitude for to the technical team who has always made the program look flawless. Thank you. Over to you, Indrani ma'am, for the closing note of the event.
Thank you so much, Brenda. I'm indeed very pleased because the session went on in such a fruitful way. And today it is quite surprising that 100 participants were there. It is all the cooperation extended by each one of you all who are here. Thank you so much for all these things. And definitely iSPELL has given this platform. And my journey as an event coordinator was really very amazing. I got to learn many, many things, coordinating, talking to people. I'm not a mobile savvy, but yet through this coordinating the events, I was able to connect myself with many, many. And also at times I could see that EC members joined, supported me. Their words of cooperation, their words of appreciation made me to energize every every event. And definitely it is successful. All credits goes to EC and the participants and everybody who directly and indirectly contributed. And as the motto of iSPELL tells, that it is to think, rethink, and to search and research. And that is what this particular platform did today. And 5 events which was conducted by me. And every satsang, as it's all 72 satsang, what we have deliberated through iSPELL has been a very meaningful one and a constructive one. Amidst all these things, I feel as a convener, coordinator of this, I experienced that unique support from each one of them. And in fact, it is not that facilitate to elevate. It is I myself was elevated from the support which was given by each one of you all. One message was gave, everybody reacted, and the commitment what iSPELlians have is hats off to each one of them. The organized, meticulous way how to present ourselves was that what I learned through this. And indeed, this iSPELL has made me a poet also, where for the first anniversary, I have written a poem, which I wish to read it all before everybody. iSPELL is a promise. iSPELL is a promise. It's a new horizon of learning. Competing platform for the learners stands stern to elevate and facilitate. Promising literary lovers a feast, a true satsang with divine commitment to deliberate, ensuring to explore oneself, igniting the heart and soul of the literary lovers, working tandem to benefit the discipline of raising high, and enlightening, awakening, insightful, connecting oneself to the virtual world. It's only giving, rendering with no returns. So, with these words, congratulations for successfully completing all this 1 year without looking back and moving ahead as a ray of hope for hungry literary minds. And this is what was my words to this, and I have raised very high and my profound gratitude to Dr. Gunsham sir, the General Secretary who introduced me to this iSPELL platform. My great moral support was Anupama Hora ma'am, Dr. Shalini ma'am, and the Balasubramaniam sir is today with us. It is only because of the reference through Shalini ma'am. Initially, I felt whether it is approachable, but yet, Balasubramaniam sir, your smile remained till the end like this, and the way you ignited our minds in a literary way. Thank you so much, sir, for wonderful deliberation. And Arpit ma'am was really an icing on the cake. I have already told her that I cannot forget your Independence Day celebration, which I was a part of your forum, and I could feel that spirit over here. And your profile speaks about that credentials, ma'am. Thank you so much. And every iSPELLian has done such a wonderful contribution directly and indirectly. And I could see that everyone is committed, though they weren't well, though they had family issues, but amidst all these, they raised eye standing on Sunday Sahitik Satsang, and my immense and enormous gratitude to each one of them. My special, profound gratitude to Dr. Pramod Dengle sir for being a part of this. And he is always, height of patience should be learned by him. And as I said, this iSPELL platform has taught us, each one of us, how to get and to research and get back to each one of us, connect ourselves in the world where the situation is very worst. And each one's smile and words, encouraging words, have made us to do the best. And immense gratitude to each one of them. And all these YouTube viewers who were there with their precious time, and hundreds of participants who went on texting me, ma'am, we are not able to join via this platform, but yet they have contributed a lot. Thank you so much. And it was really a very constructive program. And I wish this will never stop for years and years and decades to come. And my best wishes to iSPELL. And thanks to iSPELL EC members for giving me this opportunity to be the event coordinator. And my journey has already been such a wonderful one for this particular month. I wish to quote the words of Robert Frost in his poem, "The woods are lovely, dark and deep. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep." And yes, this event coordinator has made my shoulders to be very heavy to carry on with many more such upcoming events where the responsibility will be shared as a head of Karnataka South Forum, iSPELL South Karnataka Forum, and as a EC member. Thank you all to each and everyone for being a part and encouraging me in every step. Ashoka Saddev sir was there, Murli sir was there, Prashanta Chakravarti sir was there, and Rajesh sir was there, and many to name I have done, but from heart, from deep my heart, I express my gratitude to each and everyone who have been a part of this events, and hoping that even in future, you all will encourage us to give the best one through this platform. Thank you so much. And congratulations, Brenda, for doing an excellent work.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And well, let us stay tuned with this literary feast on every Sunday, and hope please do connect and bring back many such literary lovers on this platform. Thank you so much, and have a great evening. Thank you all, one and all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.